Hi, my name is Jenna Repart, and my disease was peripheral arterial disease. It is also known as PAD, and it is defined as a circulatory condition in which narrowed blood vessels reduce blood flow. The arteries have reduced blood flow, and the arms and legs, or even both. So, some of these symptoms can be leg pain, muscle pain, cramping in the limbs, especially your calf, muscle pain in the limbs with exercise, coldness in your lower legs, no pulse in your legs, numbness, weakness in your legs. And then you can have some exterior symptoms, such as like shiny skin, skin color changes, sores on your legs. Another one is like your legs won't grow hair, or just those kind of different things that don't usually happen. Around 10 million individuals in the United States have this condition. Most are above the age of 40. You start seeing it around that 40-50-year-old age gap. It is more common and a higher risk for individuals that have diabetes. If PAD is left untreated, the individual will most likely need an amputation. They also are at a greater risk of stroke, heart attack, or even death. If PAD is treated correctly, the individual can live a normal life. It's a difficult disease to determine all of the outcomes because of how much it can vary. So obviously, if you catch it early, it's easier to treat. If you don't wait to seek help until later on, you might end up with strokes or amputations. So what causes PAD? Like we said, it's when that arterial wall is closing a little bit thinner. It's because there's a buildup of fats, cholesterols, and other substances on that arterial wall, which is making it smaller, which is making it more difficult for things to pass through. One of the number one problems was tobacco use. Most individuals that have PAD are smokers or previous smokers. Stress is a big one. Lack of physical activity is a big one. Those would be important because not only are you lacking the blood flow, but you're also reducing the size of your arteries with both of those. Poor diet, that's pretty important because those fats and cholesterols are only going to keep adding up and clinging on and filling that arterial wall, making it even smaller. So increasing the risk of PAD, if you have diabetes, chronic kidney disease, blood clot disorders, high blood pressure, obesity, and bad blood cholesterol levels all relate with some kind of obesity, cardiovascular disease, all have stuff to do with those arteries, clogging them up a little bit, not helping them get better blood flow. Medications. So there are a few medications that you could get put on to help with this. I think that's more in the later stages where it's a little bit more advanced. So a big one would be blood thinner medications because those arterial walls and the arteries are thinner. A cholesterol lowering medication because, again, that's what's building up on the arterial walls. And high blood pressure medications. Exercise testing for individuals with PAD is something that's kind of tricky. You definitely can do it. You can do it, but you have to watch out for muscle pain and cramping, especially in those calves, because that's the number one thing that will happen when they're exercising. So it is pretty safe overall. It's just the pain and the cramping. If I were to run an exercise test, it would be either the 6-minute walk test on a treadmill, or maybe even the Bruce, because both are on the treadmill, and those are like the best just because they can stop, they can, if they're having pain, get back, but probably 6-minute walk test. The treatment that goes into this is, if you want to improve your health, just overall health, you exercise, diet, and the biggest one would be stop smoking. If it's a little more advanced, then that's when you get into the blood thinner medications, and then the most advanced would be angioplasty surgery, which again is on the very far end of the spectrum, very last step, but There's no cure for this disease. The symptoms can be reduced, especially with exercise, but definitely not cured. For the exercise prescription, I would say resistance training is pretty to the T what we've been doing in ACSM guidelines. 6 to 8 exercises with the major muscle groups at 60 to 80% of 1 rep max, 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. I would start with body weight, bands, machines, and then once they're ready in about 2 weeks, I'd start using weights. Their cardiovascular training is a little bit different just because they do have that pain, but it's the same recommendation. I would do walking mainly, biking, and swimming if possible for 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week. And personally, I usually would, if someone was more sedentary, I wouldn't start them out with 30 minutes. But for individuals with PAD, mainly if you're doing the 30 minutes, it's not continuous. Since they reach that level of pain, you would probably do 5-10 minutes, have to stop until that goes away a little bit, maybe do 5 to 10 more minutes, stop again. So it's not a continuous, it's more interval, just because of all the pain and the cramping that they go through with this. But studies have shown that if you do 30 minutes of moderate claudication, it does show the best benefits overall. And that's just something that if they say it's too much, I need to stop, it's something over time they can work up to the 30-45 minutes. Flexibility, this is pretty important for individuals with PAD. Definitely recommending 10 to 15 minutes before and after their exercise, because this will help build their endurance, walking tolerance. It'll help that blood flow, and it'll help stretch those muscles, especially with all their cramping and sore muscles. So, how are they going to benefit with exercise? This is going to reduce their overall pain in their limbs, and it's going to improve their circulation. It'll also strengthen their muscles to improve their endurance, but like I said, they do deal with a lot of the muscle cramping and muscle pain when they exercise. So the pain during the exercise will benefit them overall with reducing their daily life pain, if that makes sense. So yeah, they might go through some pain with exercise, but it'll pay off in the end. PAD, it also goes in stages, so I feel like most things do. So it starts with stage 1, not too many symptoms, and then it has a stage 2A, 2B. 2A is a little bit of pain with walking more than 200 meters. 2B is pain with walking less than 200 meters. So getting a little bit worse. Stage 3, you have pain when you're resting. And then stage 4 is when those cells start to die. You get a lot of numbness, a lot more pain. But that's when very severe, you might need to, that's when you might be getting amputated and those other things. So overall, for individuals with PAD, there will be unavoidable pain in their arms and legs, but the symptoms can be reduced with exercise. The best cardiovascular approach would be interval walking until the 30 minutes is reached. A diet on top of exercise can also greatly improve the symptoms because the less fatty, oily foods, those saturated foods they're eating, the better it'll help the cholesterol, help clear out those arteries maybe a little bit. And PAD works in stages, so it's better to catch it in the beginning because the longer you wait, the worse it'll get overall.